Well, the NBA made a huge move as far as the television side over the last few days. They're signing a new deal for the 2025-2026 season at $6.9 billion for a new media rights deal. The new media rights deal will be across multi-platforms of ESPN, ABC, which is one company, Amazon Prime, and NBC. This is a major deal that does not include TNT, where the NBA has been a staple for many years. Brandon, how do you feel about this deal?
I mean, it's a big deal for the NBA. We're going to see, I think, very similar situation what happened back in 2016. Salary cap's going to blow up. A lot of recent signings and stuff that teams are making right now that people are freaking out about. Franz Wagner with the Magic. We're talking about New York Knicks with a certain star here in a second. All those deals that people are freaking out about. Oh my gosh, it's so much money. It's the most we've ever had. In like 2 or 3 years, it's going to seem like a steal of a deal. And like you said, $6.9 billion a season. That is incredible. The NFL is making on average about 10 million. And with some of the incentives that they've laid out in this deal, you could possibly see the NBA cross that threshold into 7 billion potentially per year. So it's great for the league. It's great for the players, great for the fans. I love it.
Mike, what's your thoughts, man?
I agree with everything that Brandon said. The only thing that I disagree with is that it's not that great for the fans. And the reason being behind it is because a lot of these games are going to be streamed on streaming services instead of cable network, where we've been watching national televised games for however long since I've been born. I know since both of y'all been born. Ever since probably the NBA's been around. They've been nationally televised on cable, and now it's going away from that. So people are going to have to, if you're not illegally streaming and you're trying to legally stream, you're going to have to get Peacock. You're going to have to get NBA TV. You're going to have to get Fox Sports. You're going to have to get NBC, ABC. You're going to have to get all these streaming services just to watch a game that's going to last 2 hours when you got to pay probably $15 per month per each service. So that could ultimately come down to either $200 or $300 a month, depending on how many streaming services you get. If you get one, yeah, only $15 a month. Yeah, that's cool if you got it. But going away from the whole cable service network, you're taking away the love of watching basketball from the fans, and you're giving it to the top seller, whoever's going to buy it, whoever's going to buy the game that week. I saw a tweet that after the NFL season is over, they're going to have games streaming every single day, Monday through Sunday, either on Peacock, either on ABC, either on NBA TV, etc. So for the fans, when it comes to watching these games, it's going to be tough unless you're an illegal streamer and you're just watching these games on either one of these websites. And, you know, you can't fault the fans for using these websites when you're out here trying to make your dollar out of it.
Dude, online.
Well, I think what they need to do is, I think they need to do like MLB did a couple of years ago, and I believe the NBA possibly might have done it a couple of years ago as well, where you can choose your team and just pay for a subscription of that team, blackouts or not. I think the blackout dates or blackout games is an outdated, archaic thing anymore, because there are none, because everybody is able to stream now. So I think they need to get rid of the blackout rules. I think that they need to come up with that. You can maybe have a subscription for, you want to watch Magic, you want to watch the Heat, you want to watch the Mavs games, or you just want to watch your certain team, you should be able to do that. And no matter what, you're able to watch it on whatever platform you have it on there. The flip side to that is, I actually am very excited to come back on NBC. I remember growing up as a young basketball fan. That was where it was at, was NBC with Bob Costas and, you know, and Marv Albert with yes, you know, and so they had the classic theme song, you know, and I'm excited for it to come back to NBC. And the other thing I'm kind of excited about is to get to hear new voices, because for the last few years, all we've been able to get is ESPN and TNT. For the most part, you have NBA TV, but those are mainly less marquee games on NBA TV. But we're going to be able to get some new perspective on things, and it's going to open the door for a lot more broadcasters and a lot more opinions. I am going to be sad to see, and I hope they do come back, Charles, Shaq, Kenny, and Ernie Johnson. Ernie Johnson, I think, is one of the best to ever do what he does, and those guys just have great chemistry. But it'll be very cool to see new faces and new places and see how this all transpires. So I am kind of excited about it, but the logistics is going to be interesting, because how are you going to be able to promote that, hey, we're on NBC today, we're on Amazon tomorrow, and we're on Peacock? the following day, or it's an NBC game only. You have to watch it on regular NBC. How that's going to be interesting. How they're going to be able to get the fans to be able to follow that. And everyday games is going to be a lot.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
has
and trying to go from like just viewing your team, I get it, right? So, an example, my team, Miami Heat. Yeah, I want to see the Miami Heat all the time, but if you're telling me on Wednesday night at 10 p.m. the Lakers are gonna play the Phoenix Suns, LeBron against Kevin Durant, I want to watch that too. And what? I
Yeah.
gotta go and pay another $15 on another subscription site, another subscription streaming site, and just to watch that game particularly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
and so just so we don't get like super far into this one, but there is something I was thinking about that's going to be interesting for ESPN of all the companies, because ESPN also showcases college basketball. So are you going to basically forfeit you have your ESPN Plus, but then you, like you were saying before, you have to pay for that. But what are you promoting? Because they used to have Big Ten Tuesdays or SEC Mondays or something along those lines, but now you're going to have to promote NBA Mondays or whatever the case may be, whatever they have their day. They already have NBA Friday, NBA Wednesday, but with all the services that are going to be offered, they're also going to have to compete with their own selves in the aspect of they're going to be promoting college basketball plus this as well. So that could be an interesting aspect for ESPN.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say this though too. Like, I definitely feel, and understand what, George, what you're saying and stuff like that with how is this going to work? Like, it's new technology, it's new streaming service. Like, it's a different format of how you're doing things, and it's a change for sure from what we were used to 5, 10, 20 years ago with cable. But if you look back at the history of the league, how it's been broadcast, there's always been change to how it's been done. Like, before you had satellite TV, then you got cable. Now you've got online streaming. So there's always, just as technology is evolving, the way the broadcasts are evolving, there's going to be some pushback. There's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be some bits and pieces that maybe don't make the most sense right away. But I feel like in the long run, they'll adapt. These companies will adapt. Everything will kind of figure out a good balance, a good flow to how to make sure that the fans aren't getting screwed over at the expense of making the most profit available. So.
Yeah, and this is definitely an American problem here that we're having, which is definitely nice for us to be able to have this, because I've been watching, most people have as well, that Welcome to Wrexham. So shout out to Wrexham. I became a fan now of, don't kind of put it out on the map or anything, but I love the team. I love the show. So I love what they're doing out there. But there was an entire episode on how you cannot watch away games of your home team because of some sort of old broadcast rights. So this is definitely a nice thing to have in America, that we're fighting over which channel we have to watch. So it could be worse.